You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day, we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in options trading education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's Live Advantage Group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Monday, January 14th, 2019. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It is the top 5 things to know in the market on Monday. First thing to know is China's exports shrank the most in 2 years. China's exports unexpectedly fell the most in 2 years in December, while imports also contracted, pointing to further weakness in the world's second largest economy and deteriorating global demand. China's December exports unexpectedly fell 4.4% from a year earlier, with demand in most of its major markets weakening. Imports also saw a shock drop, falling 7.6%, in their biggest decline since July of 2016. The disappointing numbers reinforced fears U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods were starting to take a heavy toll on China's cooling economy. Adding to policymakers' worries, data also showed China posted its biggest trade surplus with the U.S. on record in 2018, which could prompt President Donald Trump to turn up the heat on Beijing in their bitter trade dispute. The second thing to know today is U.S. futures pointed to a shaky open. U.S. stock futures pointed to a sharply lower open at the start of the trading week, pre-open, as worries about an economic slowdown in China weighed on sentiment. The third thing to know today is Citigroup kicks off Q4 earnings season. The fourth quarter earnings season on Wall Street kicks off this morning when Citigroup becomes the first major U.S. bank to release its quarterly results at 8 a.m. Eastern Time earlier this morning. Analysts were forecasting earnings per share of $1.55 on revenue of $17.5 billion. The same period of last year had $1.14 in earnings per share and $17 billion in revenue. JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo are scheduled to report their earnings on Tuesday, followed by Bank of America and Goldman Sachs on Wednesday, and Morgan Stanley on Thursday. Other big names due to issue results this week include Netflix, United Health, American Express, BlackRock, Delta Airlines, and United Continental. The fourth thing to know today is oil prices tumble amid China slowdown jitters. In commodities, oil prices fell around 2%, with Brent crude slipping below $60 per barrel amid concerns over slowing demand in the wake of dismal Chinese trade data. The Asian nation is the world's second largest crude oil consumer. International Brent crude oil futures were at $59.41 per barrel, down $1.07 or around 1.8% from their last close. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude WTI futures were down $1.02 or about 2% at $50.57 a barrel. Fifth thing to note today is May makes a final plea ahead of Brexit vote. British Prime Minister Theresa May will make a last-ditch effort to convince rebel lawmakers to back her Brexit divorce deal, warning that the UK's exit from the European Union is now in peril. May will make a statement to Parliament at 10:30 a.m. Eastern before lawmakers continue their debate on her Brexit deal, Sky News reported. The future path of Brexit is uncertain, as Parliament is likely to vote down May's deal on Tuesday. Possible outcomes include a last-minute deal, a disorderly exit, a new referendum, or remaining in the bloc. The pound edged lower, with the British pound USD dipping to 1.2832 at the start of what is expected to be a highly volatile week. Our second story today is from CNBC.com, and it offers a little color on one of the things we talked about. The U.S. trade deficit with China grows to a record, and it's likely even worse than the data shows. Despite U.S. President Donald Trump launching a high-stakes trade war against Beijing last year, China on Monday announced its 2018 trade surplus with Washington was its largest in more than a decade. China's surplus with the U.S. grew 17% from a year ago to hit $323.32 billion in 2018, according to government data. It was the highest on record, dating back to 2006, according to Reuters. The deficit that the U.S. has with China is likely even bigger than these figures indicate, since China calculates the numbers using different methods, sometimes excluding goods that end up in the U.S. via other countries. Exports to the U.S. rose 11.3% year-on-year in 2018, while imports from the U.S. to China rose a meager 7.7% over the same period. China's overall trade surplus for 2018 was $351.76 billion, the government said. Exports in the whole of 2018 rose 9.9% from 2017, while imports grew 15.8% over the same period, official dollar-denominated data showed. And for our third story, here's that data on Citigroup. Citigroup reports surprise drop in quarterly revenue and shares fall. Citigroup Inc. reported a surprise drop in quarterly revenue on Monday as extreme volatility in financial markets towards the end of the year hurt its fixed income trading business. Revenue from that business fell 21% in the fourth quarter, with Citigroup citing widening credit spreads and the market correction in December. Banks with big trading businesses benefit when the markets move because it prompts customers to buy and sell securities. Sudden bursts of volatility can be damaging, leading customers to avoid trading and also hurting banks' ability to hedge their own market exposure. Overall revenue fell 2% to $17.1 billion, below Wall Street's expectations of $17.6 billion, according to IBES data from Refinitiv. And our final story today is from Investing.com. Bitcoin falls and Japan says no to ETFs. Cryptocurrency prices slumped on Monday as Japan's watchdog said it had no plans to approve crypto exchange-traded funds. The news is the latest knockback for crypto assets from global regulators who have been reluctant to make it easier for investors to access them because of worries that it is too easy to manipulate cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin fell 2.3% to $3,518.90 on the Investing.com index as of 8:36 a.m. Eastern. Cryptocurrencies overall were lower, with total coin market capitalization at $118 billion at the time of this writing, compared to $122 billion on Sunday. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Monday, January 14th, 2019, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart, and have a great week.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.